keep your eyes out on Mumbai Falcon.
Some interesting stuff coming up. Look forward to racing to the future.
From across the world. If you've just joined us, I welcome all of you as we are live from the Dubai Autodrome. My name is Ridhima Pathak, and let me tell you, as it stands by now, we've got the end of the two qualifyings. At the end of Q1, you have Sebastian Montoya, who's at the #1 finishing line. On Q2, in the interesting scheme of things, we had Hadrian David. Now, I've got my commentator Jake right here, and he mentioned that Q2 was rather unpredictable and spicy. Why would you mention that?
Well, to be honest, we had a few results from Q2 that we weren't expecting after Q1. It seemed as though the changes that were made in between sessions in qualifying actually made it very difficult for a few drivers to find the grip. It got very windy, and therefore sand blew onto the circuit, made it a little bit difficult for the drivers to find the ultimate grip. And they've been struggling with tyres all the way through the weekend. So it's actually thrown a bit of a curveball in for the races. It's made it unpredictable. Sebastian Montoya on pole position is as it was last time. But behind him, there's a few drivers out of position.
Indeed it is. And you know, there are a number of questions that are coming up on YouTube, so we are definitely loving all the response that we are getting. The first question that a lot of people out there are asking is to why aren't there as many Asian drivers? Your response to that?
Okay, it's an interesting question. Essentially, with this being in January and February and all of the racing taking place in one country, which is largely a world pandemic response, a lot of the drivers from Europe have seen this as a good opportunity to get used to the Formula Regional car before they take it on in Europe. And obviously, with this being the first major single-seater championship of the 2022 season, it's a good chance for drivers who are trying to get a little bit more racecraft, a few more super license points on their way to Formula One under their belt. So there's a lot of reasons and a lot of incentives for drivers to come out here and race in Formula Regional Asia. And I have to say, the change to have it all in one place, it's made it very, very easy logistically, but it's also made it very entertaining to keep it all in one place.
That's right. So we saw Q2, we saw Q1. There's another question about the Q2 where one of the viewers asked an interesting question rather where why doesn't Arthur Leclerc perform as well in the qualifiers? Your response?
It's a very interesting question. It's a really good one, actually. There are some drivers who find that they actually get a better performance out of themselves in race trim than they do in qualifying. One of the problems that Arto mentioned to me after qualifying, though, is that he's really been struggling to get on top of the tyres. Particularly here, it's not a completely similar racetrack to the Yas Marina at all. Yas Marina, the circuit has just been resurfaced, it's been changed, therefore the new tarmac is very smooth. Here, although it has been resurfaced in the last few years, it has aged. So obviously, the data that they will have got from Yas Marina is very different. Add to that as well that the nature of the way that the circuit behaves by comparison to Yas Marina, there's a lot more undulation changes and elevation changes in camber, so it's a much more physical circuit for the drivers to get right, and that makes it very challenging for drivers and teams in terms of setup.
That's right. Now moving on to the race that we have in our hands. Quick predictions from Jake. Go for it.
It's difficult to take anything away from Sebastian Montoya at the moment, but Hadrian David being on that front row of the grid does throw a little bit of a surprise into the mix, although I would not at all be surprised to see Pepe Marti and Jack Crawford trying to get themselves up to the front end. They're both going to be on the second row, and they showed good speed, if not great results in Yas Marina. Watch out for the Mumbai Falcons cars behind them, though, because Dino Beganovic really wants to get a podium finish, and obviously Arthur Leclerc will not want to stay down there for long.
All right, then. Very quickly, if you had to tell me about a few challenges when it comes to the weather, the kind and attributes that the weather's been playing on this particular championship?
It definitely makes a little bit of an interesting challenge from one day to the next. If there's a rise or drop in temperature, it does change the data that the cars have been working with. So obviously what would have worked for the car on one particular session doesn't work for the next. So a few times over the course of this weekend in particular, the engineers have ended up scratching their heads trying to figure out where the pace has gone. I can see that the mechanics are now clearing the circuit, so it's not going to be too long before they're on the formation lap. So all of those questions are about to be answered.
Indeed. Well, Jake is a very busy man, so I'm going to let him go. But all I can tell you to all the racing fans, it's race time.
We are ready for action at the Dubai Autodrome. It is the second race weekend of the 2022 Formula Regional Asian Championship. If you've just tuned in, your timing could not be more perfect. It is absolutely spot on here. The sun is shining, the wind is a little bit high, but we're going to have a sensational battle with the 3 races this weekend. Starting with the first here at the Dubai Autodrome for Sebastian Montoya on pole position. It is absolutely where he wants to be. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here with you once again, and we are going to have a fantastic show. Myself and my colleague Ridhima Patak have been keeping an eye on things all the way through the course of the weekend, and now it is time for all of the debate and all of the question marks to cease as we are about to go racing in fine style. This is how it looks. Sebastian Montoya will be pole position for the starting grid, and Hadrien David, after a brilliant qualifying performance from the Frenchman for the 3Y technology car team, have ended up in second position on the grid. Jack Crawford and Pepe Marti will be next up in position, and that's definitely going to be good opportunities for them. Dino Beganovic starting in P5. The race 2 winner last week at Yas Marina, Gabriel Bortoleto, goes off P6. Frustration for Isaac Hajar and Gabriele Mini. They couldn't quite get the lap time they wanted out of qualifying. And then in 9th position, it is Arthur Leclerc. And in P10, it is Paul Aron. So, interesting battles and some exciting opportunities to come. But it will be an absolutely amazing race battle as the marshals are the only ones now left on the circuit. We get ourselves ready for battle here at the Dubai Autodrome. Thank you indeed for your patronage and your following. Do keep these questions and things coming in. It's going to be absolutely amazing and great racing for all of the competitors. But are we going to get to see a 4th different race winner from the first 4 races? That is going to be exceptional. As the engine revs rise, they will go around for the green flag lap. The formation lap begins here at Dubai Autodrome. I'll run you through the grid. Sebastian Montoya, pole position. Hadrien David, 2nd place. Jack Crawford is 3rd from Pepe Marti in 4th. Then Dino Beganovic alongside Gabriel Bortoleto on row 3. Isaac Hajar alongside Gabriele Mini. Arthur Leclerc and Paul Aron from Delano Van Toff and Joshua Duvec. Pierre-Louis Chavez, the returning vice champion, is 13th on the starting grid alongside Hamda Al-Kubaisi, the ever-improving Emirati. Then Oliver Gutta and Leonardo Fornaroli, Frederick Lubin and Nicola Maranangeli. Ayato Iwasaki alongside Khaled Al-Kubaisi, the leader of the Masters category. David Morales and Levante Revej. Lorenzo Flusha really struggling in qualifying, 5th in the standings, down in 23rd on the grid. He'll be fighting his way through the field alongside Amna Al-Kubaisi, who is ready to go and raring fit after her incident last week with Chembolik Bassi. So, a fascinating battle. I did notice, though, that Chembolik Bassi is not here this weekend, so hopefully he will return later in the season. And then, of course, on the back row of the grid, it is 2 more of the Masters drivers, Thomas Luedi and Sally Yaluch. So the battles are going to be really exciting indeed. So we are going to have an absolutely fantastic race in front of us as the drivers get themselves weaving from side to side to generate a little bit of heat into the tyres. They obviously got to try and warm up the brakes as well in the same moment. So obviously they'll be working on it as the competitors work their way around the course. And this half an hour of motor racing is going to give us a very clear indication as to who is going to take the maximum raft of points humanly possible. We had 3 different race winners last time out: Sebastian Montoya, Gabriel Bortoleto and Gabriele Mini. Ironically, we also had 3 different drivers set the fastest lap: Hadrien David, Isaac Hajar and Pepe Marti. Pole position for race 1, Sebastian Montoya. Pole position for race 2 will be whoever finishes 10th in race 1, because the top 10 positions will be reversed ready ahead of race 2 tomorrow. Pole position for race 3 is going to be Hadrien David. So a fascinating battle. Remember, the points are scored exactly the same way they are in Formula 1. 25 for the win, 18 for second, then 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and 1 down to 10th position. No bonus points for pole position or fastest lap, and all points count. There are no dropped scores. Gabriele Mini leads the championship with 43 points. Arthur Leclerc has 40. Sebastian Montoya has 38. Gabriel Bortoleto has 34. Lorenzo Flusha has 30. And Isaac Hajar has 27 ahead of Jack Crawford on 24. 7 drivers covered by 19 points in the championship. With 3 races to run here this weekend, it could be a very different championship leader heading out of the Dubai Autodrome. But we will find out as the race battles are about to get underway here at Dubai Autodrome. On the right of your screen, Sebastian Montoya. On the left of your screen, Hadrian David. We are in for an incredible race battle as the drivers are in position. We will get the green flag at the back of the field, and when we do, we are ready to go racing. Looks like Thomas Luedi is in his position in the final place on the grid. And then when they are in position, the green flag will fly, and we will get ready for racing for the first of 3 here in the Formula Regional Asian Championship at Dubai Autodrome. Green flags fly, and we're ready to rock and roll here for the second round of the championship. Ready? Let's race! Great start from Hadrian David. Sebastian Montoya is going to try and cover him as they go down the straight, but Montoya's got the better launch, and it's a cracking start from Dino Beganovic up to 3rd position. Brilliant start from the Swede. He's now going to try and draw level with Hadrian David. David tries to force him wide and cut him off, and it looks like Crawford and Hajar are going to try and split their way around the outside of Hadrian David. It looks like another fast starting 3 wide. That is Gabriel Bortoletto, and Pepe Marti is trying to go for 3rd position on the inside of Dino Beganovic nice and early, but he can't quite squeeze through. As through 17 and 18, he has to give best to Beganovic. Looks like somebody's gone off the road. It's one of the Red Bulls. I should say it's one of the Red Bull Academy drivers, because that could be Crawford or it could be Hajar. I think it is Hajar that ran wide, but at the moment it's the first 2 in the first positions. But Dino Beganovic has gone out of the blocks like a rocket and into 3rd place, but he's got pressure from Pepe Marti, who's going to come from around the outside and now tuck in for P3. Good move from Pepe Marti, who gets the pinnacle into 3rd position. Dino Beganovic is not giving up though. Beganovic is still going to try and take it round the outside and then switch back for the undercut maneuver. Beganovic gets a faster run off the turn, as it looks to me like Crawford has ended up crowding out Bortoletto, and still they're side by side, Beganovic and Marti. One of these guys is going to have to give way, and it's not going to be Pepe Marti. He goes for the inside line. Beganovic is smart. He gets back off the power, goes for a late acceleration and comes back through, as it looks like a fast move from behind. That looked like Isaac Hajar, I believe, trying to make his way up the order. But he's got Jack Crawford in there for company as well. So out of the final turn, and it's all going beautiful for Sebastian Montoya up front, looking for his 2nd win of the season. And they cross the line, and it's Montoya out in front. No problems at all. Hadrian David in 2nd. Marti is 3rd. Beganovic is in 4th place. Then Crawford, Bortoletto, Vanthoff, Hajar, Mini, Chavez, Leclerc and Dufek. As they go through the first couple of corners, it is absolutely spectacular stuff at the moment from Sebastian Montoya, who is out in 1st position, loving life, but he's got pressure from Hadrian David. David is going to try and get into the draft as he comes down the back straight, sorry. David tries to get in behind Montoya, but Montoya is trying to shake the toe. Back up through the gears. Montoya trying to second guess where Hadrian David is going to go. He holds it on the inside line. David is very close. David will try and get the switchback maneuver. They've got to be so careful. They don't want to trip over each other. There's a long, long race here, and if you pick up damage, you carry it for the entirety of. David is putting Montoya under pressure. Gets up alongside. The Colombian forces him wide. Marti is going to try and get his run on Hadrian David. David is not going to be intimidated. Now he tucks out for the inside. Montoya tries to squeeze him, and David is getting on the white lines as he tries not to rub wheels with Montoya. Goodness me. So close between those two. That could have been nasty. And now watch Marti. He's going to try and find grip around the outside. Marti's going to go the long way round. He's on the curbs. That's where David puts him. And now Beganovic will get a faster line off the turn. Beganovic is going to try and come up into 3rd position. Nicely done. Beganovic through. No hesitation. Crawford is going to try and get past now as well. And he's there. Marti is going to try and hold it round the outside. And he tucks back in front, but Crawford is going to have him on the breakaway down the straight. Beganovic trying to break the toe. Excellent racing, and this is only lap 3. Brilliant from the Formula Regional Asian drivers. David is still putting Montoya under as much pressure as he can, but this is getting very heated indeed up at the front end of the field. And still the battles rage. Montoya leading, Hadrian David 2nd, then Beganovic, Marti and Crawford absolutely squabbling over 3rd position. Beganovic is the man who is there. He was hoping that he could pick up his first podium of the season. He had a lot of bad luck at Yas Marina. Now here he is in 3rd position, down the back straight, but he's still trying to shake off the toe. Last year, we had real problems with these cars following each other at Dubai. There were not a lot of overtaking moves. Now it is definite that the cars are designed to run closer together a little more, and drivers are able to go for it. And that was a lovely move up the inside. That looked to me like Delano Vanthoff trying to get up alongside Gabriel Bortoletto. And they're still dueling for position, so it's not quite been settled yet between those boys. And in the distance, we can see that is Crawford trying to hold on to his position. as they continue to duel away. But Montoya in front of Hadrian David, and now they're settling into a bit of a rhythm. So now we can take stock of the situation. Now we can breathe a little bit, as in third position, there is an absolutely sensational run for the drivers. They will continue on their way, but still they squabble away for position. Montoya, David, Beganovic, Marty, Crawford. Slight issues with the timing screen. Not entirely sure why, but unfortunately we can't seem to bring you that on the pictures at the moment. We will rectify it as soon as humanly possible. Hopefully it'll be there in time for race 2. But David is catching up to Montoya. Montoya's got to think about what he does here. He'll know that David will commit. He sends him around the outside, but he's got to protect the inside line. The car will start to drift, and David is committing, but he has to bail out of the throttle. Well held by Sebastian Montoya. That was round 1, but there's definitely going to be a few more opportunities for these guys to take a swing at each other. David still hustling Montoya. He's going to have the run down the back straight, and Montoya will know it. He breaks the toe. David goes with him. Will he go for the move on the inside? No. Montoya's going to cover the inside line. David's going to hold the outside, but he'll try and get the undercut maneuver. He's got to try and keep Montoya second guessing. Through the left. Back on the power. Still great battles behind him, but David is getting up alongside Montoya. Montoya had a twitch, and now he's going to try and squeeze him to the apex. Montoya still holds the car on the inside apex line, but David is going to carry the throttle. Holds it on the curb, round the outside. Hadrian David takes the lead. Beautiful maneuver. Absolutely amazing from Hadrian David. Montoya is not going to let this one lie. So he comes from the outside line. We'll try and get the switcheroo back on the inside. David chops across him. Don't even think about it. And that might be all she wrote. Hadrian David, absolutely savage with Montoya on the inside line there. Don't even try it. I am going to take this lead and I'm going to run away. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Et tout à l'heure. And he goes down the main straight. So Hadrian David trying to stretch away from Montoya. Now, what that's done is it's put the wind up Pepe Marti's sails. He's going to try and take on Montoya now as well. So Pepe Marti, the Spanish driver, who ended up in 2 incidents through the course of the Yas Marina weekend. Absolutely sensational stuff as Montoya is trying his best to close back up on Hadrian David, but David is gone. He's absolutely lit and gone out in front. So Hadrian David is already starting to stretch away. Clear that he's got the raw pace. But now it's going to be an interesting one as here comes Pepe Marti. He's going to want to try and make the same move on Sebastian Montoya, but will he go for it? Down into the hairpin, he's going to lunge for it. And Pepe Marti, has he been able to hold the position on the exit? Because he will drift out wide. And he hasn't. No, Sebastian Montoya's got him straight back again. So Sebastian Montoya, oh, it looks like they've slowed. It looks like they've slowed. I think we've got safety car conditions. They appear to have slowed. Yep, safety car is on track. Safety car is on track. So something has happened out on the course, and it appears to be Amner Al-Kubaisi, who has not come through. So for the second race in a row, it looks as though Amner Al-Kubaisi has got herself into an incident early on in the race. I don't exactly know what the cause of it is. We can't quite figure it out. There's yellow flags. Now her car is stationary. I can see the car that is stationary out on the course there, up at the penultimate corner. The final left-hander hairpin. That's at turn 14. Her car is stopped. So Amner Al-Kubaisi is stopped out at turn 14. And it's going to be a very, well, hopefully it's not going to be a long safety car period. But certainly there is Amner Al-Kubaisi's car. Stationary in exactly the same place that we saw Loris Spinelli in the F4 race earlier on today. But that is obviously in a dangerous position. So the safety car had to be called. Unfortunate for Amner Al-Kubaisi. So let's have a look and see what is going to happen for position. But Amner Al-Kubaisi, the car is stationary. So an absolute battle on our hands then from the competitors. And we're going to see a very, very smart battle from the drivers. You can see the positions as they are at the moment. Hadrian David in front of Sebastian Montoya and Pepe Marti. And then we have Dino Beganovic and Jack Crawford from Gabriel Bortoletto and Gabriele Mini. Delano Van Toff is in 8th place. What a return to the championship. He couldn't race last week as he ended up falling ill midway through the weekend. He was about to get into the car for qualifying, and he ended up falling ill at that exact moment. So a real problem for Dylan van 't Hoff. He couldn't compete in the rest of the weekend, but he is back here now, and he is asserting himself very aggressively up in the top 10. And he is in front of Isaac Hajar and Arthur Leclerc. So great work from Dylan van 't Hoff so far. Pierre Chavez, by the way, for fans of the Frenchman, he is in 11th position, just one place away from the points. If he can make up one more place and get past Arthur Leclerc, then Pierre Chavez can return to the championship, starting in pole position for race 2. But it is going to be a tough battle. There's no two ways about that. So it's Hadrian David who leads the race in front of Sebastian Montoya. Pepe Marti is in third from Dino Beganovic, Jack Crawford, Gabriel Bortoletto, Gabriele Mini, Dylan van 't Hoff, Isaac Hajar and Arthur Leclerc. That's the top 10 at the moment. And let's not forget that the top 10 positions in this race will be reversed for the starting grid for race 2, which at the moment would put Arthur Leclerc in pole position. Mind you, some of you might think, well, that's good, he's got a chance to win tomorrow. But looking at the long faces he had after qualifying, that doesn't necessarily mean he'll have a chance to win, because they're still trying to fight with the tyre pressures and try and figure out how the balance of the car is going to suit him. So Hadrian David, Sebastian Montoya, Pepe Marti in third from Dino Beganovic and Jack Crawford, then Gabriel Bortoletto and Gabriele Mini. So Hadrian David is leading the way. Sebastian Montoya second from Marti, Beganovic, Crawford, Bortoletto and Mini, with Dylan van 't Hoff in 8th place. Then Isaac Hajar in front of Arthur Leclerc. And then Pierre Chavez, Josh Tufek, Leonardo Fornaroli and Nicola Marinangeli. Hamda Al-Kubaisi and Frederick Lubin. Then Oliver Goethe and Lorenzo Flusha. Now there was a bit more damage to that car than I first realised, because that's clear that she's had contact somewhere with someone. The right front completely fallen off the car. So unfortunately, Amna Al-Kubaisi, I didn't see who she got into an incident with, and everybody else is still circulating. So clearly, whatever accident she's had with another driver has ended up getting rid of his car. Now, I am told that the reason for Cembolic Bassi not racing this weekend is essentially that from last weekend's race weekend, obviously the big accident he had with Amna Al-Kubaisi, the car was completely and totally destroyed. So Cembolic Bassi is here. He's just not able to race because obviously his car was completely destroyed in the race 3 accident. Now, hopefully, there's going to be a chance for him to go racing in the remaining races of the season. But with a 6-day turnaround, well, a 5-day turnaround from practice, and they obviously had to go testing from Wednesday, they didn't have a massive amount of time to get things turned around for him. Now, hopefully, they're going to be able to get it sorted in time for round 3. But Cembolic Bassi, who had a real chance to go for the title here this season, doing a full campaign, and he's going to be racing in Formula 2 later this season, of course. But unfortunately for the Turkish former F1 esports superstar, has now got to sit out on the sidelines and watch this unfold. Very frustrating indeed for a racing driver, especially when you know in your heart of hearts that you are meant to be on this racing grid. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the drivers will go around the circuit. We're still under safety car proceedings, and hopefully we will go racing very soon indeed. But what a terrific battle it's going to be as the drivers will race for position. So Hadrian David leading the way. Sebastian Montoya with Pepe Marti in 3rd position. Dino Beganovic is 1 place away from that podium, but you do kind of get the sense that had we continued under green flag conditions, we would probably have ended up in a very strong situation for him. So I would suspect that we're going to have a really exciting and very tense battle between the drivers on the restart. But certainly for Hadrian David, it's going full guns blazing at the moment for him as he continues to battle away. Well, what a sensational run it is. And so the contenders continue on their run. But they are behind the safety car. Got to keep the tyres and brakes to a reasonable temperature for the restart. but it isn't going to be easy, that is for sure. Can Hadrian David sustain the pressure on the restart? Safety car will be in this lap. Safety car will be in this lap. So we will go racing again on this lap. So we are ready to go racing again. The car has been cleared. So at the end of this lap, the safety car will come in. There are the lights out on the safety car. Lights out on the safety car. So that will come straight back into the pits. And we will go racing once again. It's going to be a fabulous battle. It is all going to come down to Hadrian David's restart. He's backing them up. He's bunching up the pack, but it looks like he's dropped the throttle. So he's already decided to go for it. Sebastian Montoya trying to go with him. They're not allowed to overtake any cars until they cross the finish line. But Hadrian David seems to have picked the perfect moment to go for this as he comes off the turn, down the straight, and he goes green, 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 green up towards turn one. And already there's a battle sparking further back. That looks like Gabriele Mini trying to shake off Delano Van Toff. And behind them, Hajar and Leclerc are going wheel to wheel. Meanwhile, Pepe Marti is already trying to second-guess Sebastian Montoya's apex into turn one on the restart, lap 9. And Hadrian David leads Montoya, Marti, Beganovic, Crawford, Bortoletto, Mini, Van Toff, Hajar and Leclerc. And as they come through, it is the 17 of Hadrian David who is out in first position. What a performance from him so far in the 3Y Technology UAE car, racing hard but firm. And he is out in first position. Now, Montoya is going to have pressure from the Spanish charge. Josep Maria Marti, who is there in third position. Pepe Marti is trying to go for his move. Round the outside, Montoya's defending, covering his 9. Marti's going to commit for the next apex, but he thinks better of it. He has a slight moment with it, and it looks like further back we've got Chavez battling away with Dufek. And now Marti going for a late lunge on the inside of Montoya. Side by side. Careful, boys. They just about avoid contact. So Montoya hanging on to second place, but he's ending up losing the toe from Hadrian David. David could have this race won already. And here comes Marti. He doesn't want to hang around behind Montoya for long. He's going to throw it round the outside. Oh, a lock-up there from Hadrian David out in front. He was lucky that Montoya and Marti weren't closer to him, and Marti's going to commit for the inside line for the next apex. Montoya trying to hold him, trying to squeeze him in the final apex, trying to hold him at the braking zone, but Marti commits. Nice move into second place. You will not intimidate me, says Pepe Marti. And now Montoya is going to try and come back at him down the main straight, but watch out for Dino Beganovic. He's going to have the draft of these two once again. And Jack Crawford is not far away either. The wind has thrown up some sand on the main straight. That could make things interesting in terms of the braking zone. Montoya trying to go round the outside. Marti moves to cover. Montoya is boxed in. And now Beganovic is going to have a go. So Beganovic is going to try and second-guess his own teammate here. Montoya and Beganovic, both members of the Ferrari Racing Driver Academy. They are very good friends out of the car. But at the wheel, they are as good a rival as anyone will find. And Jack Crawford is there in fifth position now, watching and waiting for his opportunity to get past Dino Beganovic. He's going to try and commit round the outside, late braking. Can he hold it on the far side? Crawford is going to try and keep his car planted to the inside line. Jack Crawford is through. Great move from the American. And the Red Bull young gun for the Abu Dhabi by PREMA team driver is now under pressure again from Dino Beganovic. And it looks to me as though Delano Van Toff is making his bid on the inside of Gabriel Bortoletto, and he's through. So Delano Van Toff going side by side with Bortoletto. Beganovic is coming straight back at Crawford, side by side, down to the braking zone. Into turn 14 they will go, side by side once again, and they will continue this raft of these two battling away for each other. Slight issue there, unfortunate. We'll try and pick it up. But there is the gaggle. Here they come. And still Crawford hanging on in front of the Mumbai Falcons car of Dino Beganovic. So now that Crawford is into fourth position, all going full guns blazing down the main straight. And look at Hadrian David's lead. He has stretched it out now to a very impressive and convincing 2.9 seconds ahead of Pepe Marti and Sebastian Montoya. Then Crawford, Beganovic, Bortoletto, Van Toff, Hajar and Arthur Leclerc. Gabriele Mini has fallen to 11th place now. From Pierre-Louis Chavez. Oh no, Pierre-Louis Chavez has gone through. So Leclerc is up to 9th. Mini is up to 10th. And who is it that's dropped back? Nicola Marinangeli has lost the place to Josh Dufek. Hamder Al-Kubaisi has fallen down to 19th. And Oliver Goethe has fallen to 21st behind Levente Revege. A big wobble there in the battle for positions. That was Gabriel Bortoletto going slightly out wide on the exit of 14. On the exit of 18, sorry. And now he's trying to hold on to his position in front of Delano Van Toff, the Dutchman, coming straight back at him. But Gabriel Bortoletto is not giving him any space at all. The sun's setting quite quickly here, I have to say, as it's changed the reflections and the shadows around the course. It makes things very entertaining for the drivers because they'll catch the sun in awkward angles here. And as we watch, Pepe Marti is now getting away from Sebastian Montoya. So yet again, the unpredictable nature of this 2022 Formula Regional Agent Championship season just keeps adding more and more chapters to it. We've had 3 different winners from the first weekend: Sebastian Montoya, Gabriel Montoya and Gabriele Mini. And now it looks like we're going to add a 4th in Hadrian David. Pepe Marti is going to be 2nd. That's going to be his highest result of the season. Sebastian Montoya looking good for 3rd place. Then Crawford, Beganovic, Bortoleto, Vantoff, Hajar, Leclerc. And the man who would start pole position for race 2 is Gabriele Mini at the moment. Although there is still a fair way to go. 10 minutes remain in this first race of the weekend. So still a lot can happen here. But Hadrian David with the fastest lap of the race and has stretched away out in front. He has sensed that this is his best chance yet to pick up a race victory in front of his rivals. So he is going to make it happen. And as they go onto the back straight once again, Hadrian David is in command of his troops. Pepe Marti 2nd. Montoya is 3rd. Still trying to get with him, but the problem they've had all weekend is tyre management. It's not been easy. So they are still working very hard indeed as they continue to battle away up through the far side of the course. And you can see that Sebastian Montoya is doing his best to go away with Pepe Marti, but Marti is stretching out the gap. Here's Jack Crawford in the 52. Back on the power, and it looks as though they're spreading out a little bit. It's very easy to do once the tyres start to grain. You start to gain your optimum track position, and there really isn't a lot you can do except just hustle and intimidate the car in front and hope they drop the ball. But certainly in the first part of the course, Montoya, the back end kicking out as he throws it with a massive lock of wheel spin off the corner. Podium position is still very likely indeed here for the Colombian. Let's not forget that he's not doing a full season's campaign, so he's just trying to make every race as good as possible. Hadrian David, though, is very much a contender for the championship, especially with the performances he's putting in now. He only got 1 race finish last time out in 9th position. So for Hadrian David, this is important to bounce back in style, and here in Dubai, he has shaken off the gremlins from last time out. I don't think anybody would have predicted he could be fighting for the victory, never mind taking one. And here he is, having bounced out of the blocks, and Hadrian David is right up at the sharp end. So here's the battle for 2nd. Marti, Montoya and Crawford. Beganovic is next up in position. So the battles will still continue, but it's obviously been a very tall order for the moment. And so the battle is continuing on his way. Hadrian David leads from Pepe Marti, and in 3rd position it is Sebastian Montoya, the son of the Indy 500 double winner and the Monaco Grand Prix winner as well, Juan Pablo Montoya. So it's great to see that Sebastian Montoya really is a chip off the old block and putting in into the pits. We've got a car into the pits. That's one of the high-techs coming in. Now, that is Gabriele Mini. Gabriele Mini, the championship leader, has come into the pits. There he is. Mini is out of it by the look of it. That is drama. The championship leader, Gabriele Mini, is out of race 1. Not sure what the situation is, but he is adamant the race is over. Gabriele Mini climbs out of the high-tech GP. And what a disastrous start to the weekend for Gabriele Mini. The championship leader climbs out of the high-tech, and it's all over. So, Hadrian David leads Marti, Montoya, Crawford, Beganovic, Bortoleto and Vantoff with Hajar, Leclerc, and now the man who's likely to start in pole position is Pierre-Louis Chavez. Welcome back to the big show, boy, because you are now looking at pole position for race 2. If he can hold on to 10th position, he'll score a championship point, but more than that, he will start race 2 from pole position. And he won 6 races last year. He was the vice champion. He only got beaten by Guan Yu Zhou in the final round of the championship at Yas Marina last year. So now it is going to be sensational to see what can happen if Pierre-Louis Chavez can start pole position for tomorrow's race. And alongside him on that front row of the grid is due to be Arthur Leclerc. So that's definitely going to help him out in his championship bid. But a 9th place finish definitely won't. That'll only be 2 points towards the Drivers' Championship. That's not going to help him a lot, but if he can start from second tomorrow and have a reasonable race, then he could score back some points. So, Hadrian David leads the race. I'm not sure many people had that one in their predictions coming into this weekend, but fair play to him. He has driven beautifully. He has been forceful but fair, very much in the way that Gilles Villeneuve probably would have been 40 years before him. But what a phenomenal performance so far from Hadrian David. He has got into the lead and stretched away. The gap has opened up to 5 seconds now. And Pepe Marti, what a comeback from him too, as he runs in second. Yellow flags, yellow flags. So that is going to be safety car again with 5 minutes to go. Oh, and that's why. That is Thomas Luedi. Thomas Luedi has had a problem there. Now, has he hit the wall or has he hit another driver? Whatever, Thomas Luedi is out of the car. He runs from the scene. So safety car, and that's with 5 minutes to go. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks, but with the time we've got left, that could mean that for the second time this season, we may finish under safety car, because we did so in race 1 of the season with Sebastian Montoya out in front. But I have a feeling that could be a reasonably long clean-up job, which means that we may well be finishing this race under safety car. It's unfortunate, but there isn't a lot you can do about it. But, well, a fascinating battle comes to a pause. It's not over yet, because if they manage to get that car moved quickly, then they could still have at least one sprint lap, one racing lap. But it's very indicative that the problem they've been having all weekend has been about tyres and looking after them. There is the safety car out on the circuit, being driven by Michael Kovlovsky, along with Catalan Wojciech beside. So the safety car looking to pick up the top runners. Obviously, they will wait for the drivers to come around and they will collect the race leader, Hadrian David. And with that taken into account as well, I would assume that that means we are going to be out of time for any racing. So I think that that race result might be declared with Hadrian David as the 4th different race winner from 4 different races. That's not confirmed, because there's still 3 minutes and 20 on the clock, and you never know what's going to happen, even under the safety car. We saw last time out at Yas Marina in the second race, Isaac Hajar dropped out of 3rd position with an engine misfire, despite the fact that he was under the safety car. So I would suspect that there has been a bit of an interesting resurgence of confidence in the 3Y Technology team camp. Hadrian David is going to be a race winner for the first time this year. And after 2 retirements and a 9th place last time out, that really does kickstart Hadrian David's title attack with a victory here at the Dubai Autodrome. Pepe Marti in 2nd, Sebastian Montoya in 3rd, Jack Crawford running in 4th position. Now the recovery crew is going to the far side of the circuit to go and recover the stricken vehicle. They can cut through the switchback on the club circuit to go and retrieve Luedi's car, and that will speed up the process for sure. So it's going to be fabulous racing throughout, as Hadrian David is going to become our 4th different race winner from 4 races if it stays as it is. But what a battle. What a battle it has been. So for those who are wondering, I've noticed there's a lot of questions about Ciamboluk Bassi on the stream. Well, after his big accident last week at Yas Marina at the start of race 3, the car was absolutely destroyed. They could not repair it in time, and so he is out of action for this weekend. Hopefully they will get the car repaired in time, or a new car, whatever it needs to be, in time for race 3. So, Hadrian David, your race leader from Pepe Marti and Sebastian Montoya, Jack Crawford and Dino Beganovic from Gabriel Bortoletto, Dino Delano Van Toff, Isaac Hajar, Arthur Leclerc and Pierre-Louis Chavez. And what that ultimately means is if we are going to finish under safety car, then the man who will start from pole position for race 2 is going to be Pierre-Louis Chavez with Arthur Leclerc alongside him on the starting grid. So that's going to be exciting. And we go into the final lap. Yep, there's no doubt about it now. We are going to finish under safety car, because with the time we've got left, I'm afraid there is not going to be any time for any racing left, so that will confirm it. Hadrian David is going to win this race under safety car, provided he can just follow the safety car. He's going very close to it, I have to say. I think he was frustrated. I think he wanted to race one more time as well. But there is Thomas Duetti's car. He's not going to be the Masters winner, unfortunately. But, well, fascinating stuff so far. Well, the winner of the rookie class is going to be Pepe Marti. He's going to be the man who crosses the line in second place, and he will take his second rookie win of the season by finishing in front of Sebastian Montoya. And the Masters win, well, that is going to go the way of Khaled Al-Kubaisi for the third time this season. Sorry, no, the fourth time this season, I do believe. No, it is third time, because obviously the Masters race last time, it was shared between Khaled Al-Kubaisi and Thomas Duetti. But Al-Kubaisi picked up 2 wins in the Masters category over Abu Dhabi, and he's about to pick up his third here at Dubai. A circuit that's been very kind to him in the past, because he has won the Dubai 24-hour sports car race 3 times on this very circuit, and now he's going to pick up another win in the Masters category. So, fabulous situation then for the competitors. But it really is going to be an absolutely sensational start to the weekend for Hadrian David. I don't think anybody predicted this. The lights are out on the safety car, but of course they're not going to get any racing laps in. The race will finish under safety car conditions. It's just going to be that the safety car will peel off into the pits. They will not be allowed to overtake. And so all Hadrian David has to do is cruise the car across the finish line, and he will take his first win of the season after 2 retirements and a 9th place finish at Abu Dhabi. I don't think anybody would have predicted that Hadrian David would even be in a position to challenge for a race victory, never mind to seal one. But what a drive from the Frenchman and the 3Y Technology crew. They've been absolutely sensational. And out of the final turn, across the finish line, the 4th different winner from 4 races so far. Hadrian David wins race 1 at Dubai. Excellent work from the 3Y Technology crew. 2nd for Pepe Marti, 3rd for Sebastian Montoya. 3 different teams on the podium again. And what a result. 3Y Technology take their 2nd race win of the season. A win for Gabriel Bortoleto in race 2 of Yas Marina. And now in race 1 at Dubai, it is Hadrian David that takes the win. What a result. What a fantastic performance. And an excellent race from Hadrian David. That was absolutely majestic from the Frenchman. Forceful, intimidating, but totally dictatorial out there on the circuit. Never pushed the drivers around, never forced the error. Just made sure he was going to take the win. Well done. Well done to Hadrian David. Racing is for the fearless and the brutal as much as it is for the smooth. And for the Frenchman, Hadrian David, c'est formidable, mon brave. Absolutely amazing. Great job from Hadrian David in the 3Y Technology UAE crew. Pepe Marti in 2nd place. Sebastian Montoya is 3rd. From Jack Crawford, Dino Beganovic, Gabriel Bortoleto, Delano Vantoff, Isaac Hajar, Arthur Leclerc, and the man who is 10th, who will start pole position for tomorrow's race 2, is Pierre-Louis Chavez. The comeback kid will be in pole for race 2 tomorrow. Leonardo Fornaroli in front of Joshua Dufek. And then in 13th place, it is Lorenzo Flusha. What a fight back from him from down in 23rd on the grid. He made up 10 places. A good recovery from Lorenzo Flusha. Nicola Madanangeli and Paul Aron are next up from Frederic Lubin, David Morales, Leventa Revege, Oliver Goethe, and Hamda Al-Kubaisi. And then Ayato Iwasaki, Khaled Al-Kubaisi, and Sali Yaluch. The retirements were Thomas Duetti, Gabriele Mini, and Amna Al-Kubaisi. So there they come into the pits, and what a fantastic battle. What a great result, what a great victory for Hadrian David. He will enjoy this moment, and hopefully Ridimar Patak will be down there in pit road to talk to our top drivers. Sebastian Montoya gets out of the car. That's a podium, that's a solid performance, well done. So no issues there for Sebastian Montoya picking up more points, and in the championship fight, he extends to the lead of the championship. But this man, wow, what a difference a week makes. And Hadrian David, absolutely victorious. Never in doubt once he got into the lead. Boom, thank you and good night. Excellent from Hadrian David. 4 different winners from the first 4 races. Formula Regional Asia has just turned the dial up to 11, Spinal Tap style. Great second place from Pepe Marti. Very deserving for the rookie. He wins the rookie race in front of Sebastian Montoya. So a great job there. What a performance. What a display. So a great result then for our top three drivers, Hadrian David, Pepe Marti and Sebastian Montoya. Let's look over the highlights from a brilliant race here in Dubai. So right from the start, we were always going to have a thrilling battle. Montoya and David made light work off the start. Some good battles all the way through the first couple of corners. And there were some great moves from some epic young racers. The Dubai Autodrome, very different in nature, of course, to the Yas Marina circuit, but that just played to the strengths of these drivers who wanted to really make a race of it from the get-go. There were some thrills and spills to couple in with all of the racers around as well. But it's definitely been very exciting from the off. Sebastian Montoya felt he had to defend quite aggressively to Hadrian David. But once David got his move, he was able to make a very strong play and disappear out into the distance. This was where Hadrian David really started to make it work. But now down in the pit lane, I do believe Ridimar Patak might have found our top three drivers. So there is Sebastian Montoya, just talking through with his engineers about how things have gone. This was the move, and this was the battle from Hadrian David around the outside of Sebastian Montoya. What a move! What a move! Absolutely brilliant from the Frenchman. But Sebastian Montoya was never really able to recover from that overtake. He had a few issues to deal with on the restart. Pepe Marti gave him plenty of pressure. That was the move from the Spaniard. Excellent and very, very authoritarian. But he had pressure from behind as well from his teammate Dino Boganovic and Jack Crawford, who eventually made the move for fourth position on his own. But the win under safety car conditions went the way of the Frenchman Hadrian David in front of Pepe Marti and Sebastian Montoya after this action from Thomas Luedi. Unfortunately, his retirement brought out the safety car, and that enabled Hadrian David to take the victory, the fourth different winner from the first four races. Well, a sensational race, and we are going to go to the podium to welcome these incredible drivers onto the rostrum. They really have deserved a sensational race battle. You can see the sun is setting quite quickly here. It is 4:30 local time, just about, oh sorry, coming up to 5:30 local time, I should say. So the sun is setting quite quickly. The Formula 4 cars are coming out ready for their race shortly. But we are going to have an absolutely fantastic battle at 4:30 local time. I was right the first time. But the battle, I don't know what time it is. The racing is going to be absolutely amazing from Formula Regional Asia over the course of this weekend. But we are going to have an amazing weekend if things are going according to plan. Because these three drivers that we had in the first race of the weekend have not topped the podium this time. It's now Hadrian David. Well, are we going to get 5 different winners from the first 5 races now tomorrow? Because the front row of the grid tomorrow is going to be shared by Pierre Chavez and Arthur Leclerc, 2 more drivers that have not yet taken a race victory. So, yet again, this new format, the reverse grid for race 2 in 2022, is going to spice things up yet again. Now, what this does mean, of course, with Hadrian David taking the victory is that he will now increase his performance in the championship. Hadrian David now moves up to 9th place in the standings on 27 points. But Sebastian Montoya takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship with 53 compared to Mini on 43. Bortoleto and Leclerc are now tied on 42. And Jack Crawford has 36 to Isaac Hajar on 31. So it really is quite an incredible performance from the drivers here. And Sebastian Montoya now takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship So a great opportunity for the Colombian. But for Gabriele Mini, a retirement, his second out of 4 races. It doesn't bode well for him. Fortunately, his main rivals in the championship, Bortoleto and Leclerc, were not able to outscore him and move past him in the Drivers' Championship. But certainly for Bortoleto and Leclerc, it's going to be a fascinating battle. And let's not forget that Montoya and Mini are not going to do the full championship campaign. So that is going to be essentially Gabriel Bortoleto effectively now tying for the lead of the championship with Arthur Leclerc. So talk about a spicy championship battle. This is really close. And it's only going to get closer as the races continue. So just to give you a brief summary of the top 10 before we go to the podium. Sebastian Montoya, 53 points. Gabriele Mini, 43. Gabriel Bortoleto, 42. Arthur Leclerc, 42 as well. Jack Crawford, 36. Isaac Ajar has 31. Pepe Marti has 30, thanks to his second place finish. Lorenzo Fluscher plummets to 8th, also on 30. Hadrian David now has 27 after his victory. And in 10th is Dino Beganovic on 20. So now we have 4 different race winners from the first 4 races. We've had a lot of drivers get to the podium for the first time as well. That's the first visit to the podium this year for Hadrian David and Pepe Marti. Worth looking at what's been going on in the other races as well, because obviously there are races within races. In the rookie category, it is Pepe Marti who took the victory in front of Sebastian Montoya. And then the 3rd highest rookie across the line, I'm fairly sure, I need to double check it, but I'm fairly sure the 3rd highest rookie across the line was Leonardo Fornaroli. So Leonardo Fornaroli came through in 11th position. I'm fairly sure he was the next rookie in the ranks. So I would suspect that he is next up. Oh no, sorry, it'll be Delano Van Toff, won't it? Delano Van Toff, who finished in 7th place. So he will be 3rd position in the rookie race. There were only 2 finishers in the Masters race, namely Khaled Al-Kubaisi, who takes the victory, and Salih Yaluch, who finishes up 2nd in the category. So there were a couple of withdrawals. The F4 cars are obviously heading their way to the grid, but we're going to stick around so that we can get the start of race action. We can get the podiums for the F3 drivers, the Formula Regional Asia drivers, I should say. So let's have a look at the podium. Hopefully we should be able to get to the podium ceremony for the Formula Regional Asia Championship very shortly. So the battle is obviously going to be rejoined for the Formula 4 cars. They're just going to the starting grid. You'll be able to join them on